I said it's harder for like other companies to just like tell their agents, go do social media. There's a really cool, innovative way to get people engaged with your thing. Go to the house and put what price you think this is. Yes, but I've seen people do that for 3 years now. If that's the like the extent of the innovation they're having, they're going to have a hard time.
Hey, I'm with Kenny Fast, one of the most followed agents on social media, and one of the people I followed when I was a brand new agent. You weren't too far along your career, but I knew you were hustling across the Bay in Oakland in the East Bay. So thank you so much for joining me today. We look forward to having you share your knowledge so you can help agents out there.
Hey, I mean, thanks for having me. It's good to reconnect. You know, I have a high respect for what you do too. You guys crush it. And I know you guys crush it in South San Francisco and other markets.
Appreciate your kind words. Let's get into your production for the last year, leading up to it. Where did you guys end up in 2022?
Numbers still coming in, but it's not going to be too far off. We did, at least right now that I'm aware of, we did 1,005 transactions at 760 million point two. Average price 756. So really happy we surpassed 1,000 deals. It's stuck at 1,000 deals last week. I was kind of worried that it would be stuck there because then people would think they just made up a number. So we did 1,005 deals.
That's awesome. And we have yet to see, obviously, the real trend stats and all that, but you're building an amazing business where you're at. One of the things that I think a lot of people have the challenge of is even building a small team. And you're able to build such a big organization, which we'll dive maybe right into right now. What does your organization look like at this point? Like who are the players, who's in leadership, how many agents you have, and so forth?
I'll start with leadership. So leadership is 4 people, including myself. My title is just either online, it's either founder or visionary. I'm the ideas person. We have 3 other leadership people in no specific order. Karina Demeter, who's been working with me for 5 years. She's was my assistant, and now she's kind of our executive director. She's the heart of the team. We call her the Oracle. She's kind of like our in-house broker. We're with eXp Realty, so she's not actually our broker, but she's a liaison between our agents and the eXp. She handles the deal doctrine questions, all the Gala minutes and stuff like that. Second person is our director of agent services. She started off as assistant to Karina, but now she handles all of our onboarding department, our vendor relationships, our tool sets. She's kind of Jill of all trades. And then the 4th person on my leadership team is a very flat hierarchy, is Elias Asudo. He's my director of sales and coaching. He pushes productivity, does a lot of group coaching a couple times a week, handles a lot of most of the recruiting calls that are inbound, that are referrals from our agents. And then he does a lot of speaking. Last year, we really pushed to get him on speaking engagement. So he and I speak on stage a lot. He's like our in-house Tony Robbins, and super motivation, rah. Super excited. I'm more like the operator guy. And that's our executive leadership team. Past that, Molly's department has her sister working for recruiting, handling all the onboarding and stuff. So right now we're averaging about 25 agents a month that we're adding to our team. Another person in that department is Andrea Hennen. She's for her title, she maybe agent experience or something. But she handles like she's our Sherpa. Yeah, she's like the team's Sherpa. So she brings people from onboarding step by step through the process. Every Friday, she has onboarding calls with everyone, and anything they need, tool set, whatever, like figure out, she's there. And then my brother is a big component. My brother is kind of like our office manager. He handles the facilities, the tech equipment, the restocking, and just he's super social. So team members love him because I'm not that social, my team, and he is. So he's a good help for all the offices. And past that, we have one more key person is a lead scientist. Handles our ISA team. We have 4 ISAs. Handles the lead flow, the ops tracking, our Ojo, OpsCity, Zillow. And more recently, we put them all our old leads, and he handles that too. And we have like, I think 70,000 old leads. Past that, we have a lot of virtual assistants. We have a couple of generalists. We have 3 person in our marketing department. Our marketing is, I think we're pretty leading edge in that. We have like a couple of newsletters that go out every single week that are all custom designed through Canva. They take like 6 hours each. We have 3 of them. They update our YouTube page, our LinkedIn, 3 YouTube pages, our LinkedIn profile, and our Instagram page. And then past that, our biggest hires are our most important hires of this year. We just hired a 2nd and 3rd videographer. Our 2nd and 3rd video editors overseas. So our team's probably cranking out like close to 100 reels a week right now. And that's a big part of our growth. And then they're in the department of our executive producer, our video guy in-house. So that's our agent spotlight videos, filming our events. He's creating all the like really high level stuff, but storytelling stuff and photo shoots, stuff like that. He's able to get like our agents really vulnerable and really deep. So our agents love them when they film video. Our videos I think are really good just because they're able to like connect really well versus, working off a template script. Total, we have some other assistants. I think we have about floating around 36 people on staff, if I include my team and myself. Agent count, we're right around 360 agents right now, 360 team members. We started it's January 6th right now. So we started this year with like 355. Last year we started with 220. The year before we started with 80. The year before we started with 10. So 10, 80, 220, 355. And just this past year, we probably lost like 170 agents. We recruited over 300 to 315 agents in the last 12 months, and we lost like 170. So it's a freaking monster ship or rocket ship that we're building out, but everyone's in the department and they killed it there.
Sounds like a very complex yet rewarding organization to run. And I know
it's
we spoke maybe 2 or 3 years ago now when you had just left your last company and you had only, a dozen agents. I don't remember.
I saw the interview on my thing. Yeah.
Tell us.
I was like 15. Yeah, it would not have been more than 15 agents. Because I remember where we filmed that at my very first office when I moved over, when I changed companies. Yeah, so 15 to, we added like, I don't know, almost 350 in like 3 years.
It's a totally different animal, clearly. And year by year, you kind of progress from 15, I think you said 80, and then eventually now you started a year at 355 or so. What were the phases of growing pains you had to go through to be able to accommodate so many people and, lead so many people?
I mean, a lot. It's just every time we hit, I don't know how detailed I want to get into, but like every time we hit something it becomes a bottleneck, and then we kind of look at the back and forth behind it. It could be like onboarding. We didn't really have it all sorted out. This is a small team. Let's go small team. Training. We didn't have quite the training. So I started this team, my third team here. That when I met with you, it might have been like early COVID. Like it might have been just February, March, April, something like that. So there was not anyone working. So during that time, I did a lot of webinar stuff, not diving into that part. But as we went from like 17 agents in June to in September, I think we had 50. So 1750 is a lot. We were a big team. So I was handling all the recruiting calls, the training. I was in production very much and everything, right? So who do we hire to kind of like offset some of that? And we kept like trying to find things like, okay, there's too much here. We need to bottleneck stuff or get more systems in place. So like even onboarding, it was a challenge using we literally use a spreadsheet to track all of our onboarding, a Google sheet until we had like 100 people. Did they get an email address? Did they sign up for Slack? Did they and then people didn't fill in the sheet and you scroll away, right? So we kept having to get more systems in place to like make the flow. Like even this onboarding person that's working with us, like before we would get hit with questions. Hey, how do I set a high note? Hey, I don't have my CRM yet. I guess these are still happening a little bit. Like I want to sign up for online leads. In our team right now, to get online leads, you must at least do a buyer presentation. We use Spark something, I don't know, Spark Hire. It's a video thing. You submit your video. Yeah. But before we didn't have that, so people kept on asking for leads. I was like, oh, well, you have to do this first and this first. So that became a challenge because then people get pissed off. Like, oh, well, I want that. You can't have that unless you have this. So we had to get organized. So now like on the onboarding with the agents, we moved over our system over from Asana and Monday over to Sisu. So our onboarding looks like this. It's 4 stages. It's something like onboard, then tech onboarding, then tools onboarding or something. But you can't open the next set of 5 things you need to do unless you do the last 5. So that we're constantly improving our systems. So the more we improve, the less bottlenecks we have and the less like hurdles or surprises we have. Because it was a mess early on, and even training and contracts and mentorship was huge. Or like give you an example, our mentorship program was very messy in the beginning. Then we realized, well, maybe we should do build by locations. And then later, like, okay, let's do this personality test. And then we should do, okay, maybe you should have at least done 8 deals with us, not just because you came in from some other company. And then it was like, okay, now you have to also be a certified mentor with EXP before you can be on our program. So as you can imagine, along the way, people are upset over their mentors. What's the, what the expectations were for both sides. Being a mentor is one of the hardest jobs, by the way, because your mentees suck because there's part-timers or people that you won't hear for half a year. That's the norm. So being a mentor, you don't really know what you need to do, and mentees think you are there for everything. They think you're the team leader. You're supposed to teach me how to farm and scripts and all that. So we've had we're still dealing with a lot of this stuff every day. So like every time we see some challenges, we see it as an opportunity to fine tune our system. So I don't know, everything is a mess at all times, but we just get better by the day.
I can't agree. And it resonates with me so much that everyone on the outside, they see a well-oiled machine. That's our presentation. That's social, right? Just like everyone filtering.
No one has a well-oiled machine.
But
yeah,
what you said about it is messy.
Yeah, it is messy. And most teams actually aren't organized. I remember my ex from over a year ago when she was interviewing teams, she interviewed like 6-7 teams or even more in San Francisco. And she came back and reported, I was like, and I recommend the teams, was like, these teams don't know what they're doing. It's a lot of teams just has a person that's been in business for a while. And they're good at marketing, right? At the face of it. But most teams, I'll say 80% of teams don't really have an operator as a team leader. They just do business day by day. And even though they do a lot of sales, all of them are very much in production, right? So this chat's a lot different because you might be I'm not sure you're in production. I got out of production this year. This year I did 6 sales. Last year I did 60 sales. But then last year I think I did 10 appointments. Now I'm back. I have 4 appointments this week. I'm back in production, by the way. We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't actually run a business. They are the workers of their business. They just have this thing that produces money.
Yeah, they just earn high wages by working in it. I'm still in production too, and I think what I remember about meeting with Gary Keller some time ago was it's all hands on deck when you need to be, right? So you have to be nimble and flexible to the market and the business that we're in. So makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's a tough year with sales down 40%. You really got to leverage, what our sales are down 40% from this time last year, and we had our worst quarter of the year in Q4. I think we did like 140 something million. Sounds great, but that's really bad for us coming from a year. Second quarter, we did 250 million, and then we did half of that. So it's all hands on deck right now. I think you see in the industry too. EXP just had Glenn Sanford owns EXP World Holdings. He's stepping down. Not stepping down. He's adding a new role and adjusting the CEO. He's back in CEO position, so he's going to push it. Real brokerage, just Sharon, this new president. You're with Side. They just brought in Caps to be the lead president. And you see companies like Disney and Starbucks and Peloton and Victoria's Secret bringing in these new people to work. And I like reading about leadership and kind of business builders because like in the last couple of years, and prior to that, we had like talk about Redfin and Open Door and all that. Prior to like this year when the market was really strong for many years, you could throw a lot of money at things to see what works. And we've done that. We wasted so much money last year. But you throw it, and then the person leading the company needs to be like a visionary. They come out with these crazy ideas and big dreamers, and let's get market share by any means because the money's coming in. You can afford to buy the share and try things. This year is way different. That's why CEO positions are different. You have people who scale, people who stabilize, and people who, like right now, like try to fight the market, be very aggressive. I think this year is really strategy, tactical, take market share, try to take the market share you can with as little money as possible. It's a whole, and that's why cost cutting, layoffs. I mean, Elon Musk is everywhere. I mean, he's a person that's growing companies. He's a person that's cutting companies. He's probably not a good example of what to do day to day, but like a person as a strong leader, you just have to make big moves. I think this year is really going to separate people who are afraid to move quickly, and the people who are like willing to like figure out where to cut. Whatever you do in this market, people are going to be pissed off because people are just there's not enough money to go around.
Yeah, it's a lot less. Thanks for the insights, and following leaders and taking from their examples is probably a really good source of information, especially as the visionary, as much as you're also the operator. What are your top 3 sources in business right now?
Yeah.
So people know, and maybe you can share a little bit about.
So social media is number one. I mean, because I stepped away from I stepped away from production, being heavy in it. Again, I sold 60 homes last year, and last year I was on 6 contracts. But social media has been a huge driver. I don't get that many past client referrals because I'm just really bad at staying in touch with my past clients. I'm more like a lead gen person. But last year, I still got like 50 referrals from other agents or lenders. And it just being seen, visible online is huge. I looked at our numbers today. We did an analysis of last year. 17% of our business last year, or 15 to 17%, depending you're talking about units or volume, so roughly the same. Between 17% of our business was Zillow Flex, OpCity, and Ojo. Zillow, we only did like, I don't know, 80 something million prior, coming from a year that we did 100. This year, we're only expecting Zillow Flex to be 40 million, so we're not focused on that. So the other 83% of our business is organic. And then I run a big company, so I haven't looked quite closely what it is. I just know the 80% were all like just non-paid advertisement leads. Second, I think my team is really heavy on open houses. They're out door knocking, same thing, door knocking statements. They follow up. They have cookies and waters and all that at their. Third, well, those would be the three, social media, open houses, and online leads. And we're actually now, we focused last year on getting because Zillow Flex, everyone's at risk of losing that at any given time. You don't want to be held hostage by them. So although we still maintain our account, we made this very big decision early last year, last January, to stop talking about Zillow Flex. And then we went from peak of 300 something leads in the summer prior to we're not getting 30 leads. So it's not going to be really any significant part of business. It probably will be less than 3% of our business this year. So we stopped recruiting to that. The year prior, we were all in on that. That's what, hey, we have leads, come join. So we shifted. Now our thing is full on social media. You've probably seen our content room. We have a podcast, we have a studio. Our video guys are cranking out. And that's how we've been able to recruit at such a high level too. Getting the agents to build their personal brand is literally the most important thing for us.
Love that. And I don't think there's many agents and or teams have necessarily caught on to utilizing media as much as we might see within our circles.
Yeah.
Tell us about, I guess.
You see companies start having studios, but they're not utilizing it because no one's leading on how to use it.
Yeah. And you and your team are good examples of how to use it. You guys are testing, trial and erroring, just putting a lot of stuff out there and seeing what performs. And I think a lot of figuring that out is going through that process. Now, tell us a little bit about the makeup of your team. Are people coming to you? Are they mostly experienced? Are they out of industry? How are you training these people depending on the profiles that they are and the avatars that you're looking for?
I would say 90% of people who join us are almost brand new. Yeah, it's crazy. And then, 90% are brand new. And also there's not that many top producers that move around. Top producers are usually a decent producer doing, I don't know, 6 million at least. That's probably what it takes to be able to afford rent and live a decent lifestyle here. I would say that's probably less than 20% of the agent population in most places. You see that whether it's Keller Williams, companies a little different. They mostly hire seasoned agents, but most offices you have a 10-20 rule. In fact, it's probably a 90-10 rule. So we do get probably once a month we'll probably get someone that's a 10, 15, 20 million producer. We had someone 30 million just sign on this week and then interview a couple, but the new agents are where it's at. And kind of our brand too. I had to talk with someone about this. Our brand, Fast Real Estate, is a new brand, right? We don't have street cred. So we've only been around for technically my brand is less than 3 years old. The Fast Real Estate brand, the Team Fast brand, 4 years old almost. So we're not really a consumer brand. We're an agent facing brand. So we mostly use our brand to attract agents. And you look at what's happening in the market, every Inman article, every Tom Ferry thing, every whatever says video, all that. But the other companies are slow to adjust. And I'm always looking at the roster. Every time I lose an agent, which again, we lost 100 something, right? Especially experience, would this person be a good fit in my environment today? Because 2 years ago, we were the cool kids on the block, 3 years ago, whatever, through COVID. So we had the fun spot to be. We had the training, we had the marketing. We were the only ones out. But now, a year later, it was Zillow Flex. But looking at the market now is with ESP too, people, my agents are recruiting. If 25 agents join me a month, I probably brought in 2. The other 20 came from the team. The agents out there, before watching all this TV, $1 million listing, and it would be those people, great. Okay, you can come on and be like that. But now people are watching TikToks and Reels, and they're okay, I want to be like that agent. That agent looks successful. This is what he's doing. Well, if I want to build my business like that person, I'm going to go to a team that's doing like that. And then versus, OG agents, OG agents do way more business than we do. So not talking trash by any means, but if you're a very experienced agent at a Sotheby's, a Coldwell Banker, a Compass, well, you're probably doing business and doing a lot of business because you've done business for a long time. You're not doing anything new to get new business. And you have a Rolodex. If you guys don't know what Rolodex is, it's OG people's CRM. You have a Rolodex of business, so it's hard for new agents to adopt that. And they'll be in environments where they sit around, they just can't get traction because then no one's teaching them how to get business, right? Oh, we'll do open houses. Okay, what did I say there? Yeah, you can do open houses, but are you door knocking? Are you videotaping the open house? Are you making it fun? Are you doing stuff to promote it and afterwards to leverage that? So I think what we've done is the agents here who are successful are showing people how to do it. So that's why people are joining our team. Well, I know if I want to build my personal brand and do really good marketing and do video and have scripts and do coaching, I need to join this team. Or I should at least talk to this team. So we keep attracting more of the same, I guess. And then, as the team grows, especially of the size, originally you have a really good example of a really small, intimate team that revolves around your DNA, or at least your thought and your culture and what your beliefs are. I started this team with 10 people 4 years ago, and we were the young team. People like that team's really young. At first we weren't that diverse, but just by default, because my friend circles. But then they got really we're the most diverse team in freaking, I don't know, anywhere I know, by the way. But it's like all they do is they're not that diverse, and all they do is drink White Claws. Okay, well, great. We still knocked out almost 100 deals this year, and then as it grows, the DNA of the team obviously revolves around the team leader. But as it grows, and they attract more people, and it kind of grows and grows. And John Cheplack, he's really good at this recruiting stuff. It's your subculture. Now the subculture is kind of what I talked about, like doing video, right? If my 2020 agents that joined me a couple years ago are not doing video, they wouldn't be attracted to what we're doing right now.
Right.
Because then they like me, like they joined because of me or other things we were doing, or they joined because of Flex and stuff. But now the people joining are at some point the subculture or your new identity of where you want the company to go to. It's like the whole hire where you want to go, not hire what you're doing right now or where you are. So as we're hiring more people, the entire company dynamic changes. So we're all in. And I feel like sometimes I'm saying the word social media too much, but that's really is the future. People, I talk to over 100 people a day. I give you an example. Patty Goodsby, one of my lenders this morning, 9 a.m. I hit her up. I said, her Instagram notes, a new thing, right? Rates dip today. Exclamation mark. I was like, hey, do you think rates are going to drop in the next month? And I was like, wait, hey, can we do IG live today? And then next message, yeah, let's do it. I was like, okay, at 11 a.m. I hit her up. Let's do it at 1 p.m. And then I posted on my wall today at 12:10, and now say 1 p.m. I'm going live with a lender. Literally just right before this call, less than 45 minutes ago, ended. I had an average of 50 people on my Instagram live for 15 minutes. And I think over 90 people came on during the time. That's a lot of attention span. You just made someone watch a YouTube channel for 15 minutes and just did that on the fly. So and then afterwards I told my team, hey, 4 people are here. I was like, hey, you guys need to do this. Go grab your lender who's well-spoken and just set it up for you. So today, that means I tracked it. 10 hours of people. My math might be wrong. I had 10 hours of watch time just in the last hour.
Right.
Which is crazy. That was on the fly this morning. And then that was after this morning, EXP, Glenn Sanford hopped on the agent. I'm never on the leadership calls, but today Glenn Sanford, his first week on the job, his number one goal of stepping back into the CEO of Glenn Sanford, number 1 is visibility. And number 2 is upping the training for all the agents. That's not that different from me and you. Literally, you have this podcast. This is visibility. So really pushing agents to be more social. And one thing he's done, he's been on the call every single week this week, and he's offering his time to hop on a podcast or with anyone. And then now ESP is ramping up and doing ESP Explain Live every day. But this year is truly you need to be visible. You need to be seen. Everyone's going to get loud. If they're not loud already, their companies are telling them to get loud. I don't care what company you're at. So there's 40% less deals, but for sake of this conversation, there's half the deals. There's double the agents. And the agents who are around are actually working harder. I'll give you an example. My agents, and I teach my agents how to fish. We don't have that many listings right now. I had 2 agents here. They actually had to call 16 agents yesterday for an hour to go find an open house to do. The 16 people they called, they actually had a chat with. 15 of the people they called said, no, I'm doing the open house this weekend. So think about that. People are new year, new me. I'm going to go. I don't know how long that lasts. But yeah, people are actually trying to do open houses. They need to get the business. They've been motivated. They have New Year's resolutions show up. But yeah, so that's who you're competing against. You're actually competing against people who are going back to work, or the people who are working harder and actually putting in effort. My agents, I brought them up a team meeting. My agents are doing more reels. They're knocking more doors. They do more open houses in a single week. I'll say month just to be nicer. Then most of my own agents are from 2 years ago, does in a year. They're doing 10 times more action. They're not necessarily working more hours. So I'm really seeing a huge separation in the market right now, because I have that sample size here with 300, almost 400 people, who's doing what and who's producing the results.
Can you speak on what you just said last? Because there's still a lot of agents out there that are not necessarily adopting to be putting themselves out there as much as maybe they should. Like, what's your word of advice for people that want to have the perfect setup, or, you know, want to say the perfect script in front of a video? What do you have to say for that?
You just gotta do it. I mean, it sounds really simple, but you gotta. I mean, what's gonna hurt more, right? Your ego, your content sucks, or your bank account. It's, you know, like I gave the example. I literally did this Instagram live, and then went on Instagram earlier. On the story, like, look, just do it. I screenshotted my text message or my thing with Patty, like, this is what happened, and this is the results I have. So I think too many agents are like, again, working with this many agents, I try to dive deep. People just don't feel like it. Like, this is a good example and kind of like sad, but I called out a couple of agents to produce content during Christmas, because we have a studio with a really cool backdrop and all that. We had like really, people are usually more upbeat, right, because of the holidays. But then I didn't realize people actually reflect on their year. A lot of people passed away, and I didn't think about it. I actually called out someone, like, hey, you're in free content. Later on, some other team member said that looks like trash, and then this person reached out and it's like, hey, I was really upset about this, you know, because I lost someone. And I was like, I'm sorry, like I didn't mean that. And then, like, but with that said, people have to be mentally there. You really need to separate your personal life with the activities you need to, like, this guy I follow on Instagram, Madi Hoodward or something. He has really cool content that teaches it. But you got to separate you being sad today, grief in your life, whatever it might be. That's at home. Just keep that at home. And I'm not saying you not grieve, but when you're, that's why I think going to office is so important. I push going to office a lot. I use the word office many times a day. Also, my rent's $100,000 a month. So I need people use the office. But you need to show up and just take the actions. Just don't think about it. And if you are having trouble with that, find friends, or be in an environment that with people who are doing that, or partner up with someone to do that, or like sit Instagram live, right? I'm not going to give a market update, mortgage. I don't know any of that stuff on that level. But if you're making a reels, go do it with someone. So you got to really be in an environment where people are doing that. I just listened to a couple of days ago, Change or Die. It's an old book. I just learned about it. And one of the key things in Change or Die was just, and then in that book, they had like things about AA, people recovery, or employees, or a lot of it was talking about felons coming out and getting back into the workforce, just being in the right environment with people who are doing it. And yet as a leader, you have to do it. So it's hard to just like, that's why I said it's harder for like other companies to just like tell their agents, go do social media. And then they'll tell the people to, this is fact. It's like this. Hey, I saw it's like, hey, there's a really cool, innovative way to get people engaged with your thing. Go to the house and put what price you think this is. Yes, but I've seen people do that for 3 years now. If that's the like the extent of the innovation they're having, they're gonna have a hard time. And then like our team, I'm in Neil's mastermind, Neil Holmes mastermind. The talking heads thing is kind of boring, but at least people are getting that. And I tell my team, I know it's boring. Who cares? But you have a different audience. But you do enough talking heads, you're going to be good at it, and you're going to be bored of it. And by the time you're bored of it, you're going to figure out some other things to talk about, and you're going to write your own scripts. You're going to do some funny stuff. So it's just a mix of things. But our environment, we breathe that pretty quickly. Like I went to Neil's mastermind in September, got all the scripts, learned all the stuff, probably like 8 team members. Now there's like 30, 40 of our team members making the talking heads video. And now people joining our teams like, hey, this is what you guys do. I want to know how to do that. But yeah, hop in the studio, you sit down, and you do this until you're bored of it. Now you do other stuff.
Yeah. It's just like you moving your team so quickly in growth that you figure it out along the way. And it is messy. And then just like what you're saying, you will eventually figure out how to replace the type of video that you're doing with something that maybe you're good at or that you can adopt, or, you know, you'll figure it out along the way, which I love. What's the number one quality you look for?
One really cool part.
Sorry, go ahead.
Quality? Grit. Oh, yeah, it's kind of pixelated on your end. One of the like funnest thing about running a team of this size is the ideas, right? I can't execute all the ideas. I got these masterminds. Like, give example, I've done only one client appreciation party in my life, and it was a terrible experience because that day it was the worst wins in history. It was 10 years ago. I was like, so I lost thousands of dollars as a plank. But with that said, like I'll go to things like, hey, you should try this gift giving, or you should hold this client appreciation. Have you thought about it? So the really fun part about running a team of this size is I travel like a third of the year for conferences or more. If I hear a good idea, I'll bring it back. But I was like, hey, Jung Hee, hey, Jen, or hey, Peter, you should do this. I heard this is really cool, and we'll help you set it up. And then if it works, it kind of inspires the other agents to do it. So running a team of this size, I can come up with all the ideas in the world or listen to it, and then I don't have to execute it. I just tell someone, like a quick example, going back to social media is like, if I see a really cool Reels idea, because we have a lot of people who work out on our team, and they post about the workouts. Like, if I see really cool Reels, I'll just send it to team members. Hey, you should copy this. And then they hit it, they kill it, they do really well, and other people are inspired and so on. So I collect Reels and I'll send it to my team. So this is like a huge like innovation lab. So if I see something cool, I have my team do it and it looks good. And I'll tell you, hey, Peter did this, you should do this too, and so on. So that's kind of like the fun part of having such a large environment. It's like we're just all growing in one direction, and all different, like in one main direction, but every way possible.
Love that. What do you look forward to? What excites you about the future? I mean, we're in a different market. I'm not going to say it's negative, but what do you look forward to this year? What are you looking to implement? Any insights you can give for the audience?
We're looking at, I mean, in short, we're looking to continue to grow. Our agents did an average of 5 deals last year. We had 350. I honestly think we're probably going to recruit like 500 agents the next year. It sounds crazy. We recruited 5 yesterday. So if we recruit 500 agents this year, half will stick, I think. And then from 250, I don't know, 300. I'm assuming another 50 will leave or drop out. Then we're at 550. If an average of 400 agents through the whole year, which being conservative, and they do 5 deals each, we'll do 2,000 deals next year. And that'll be like 1.4 billion. And then next year, it's just like, because like earlier, this year is going to be really challenging. It's exciting because not everyone's like just killing it and winning. And there's not, I mean, honestly, like towards middle of last year, it was getting kind of boring in real estate for me. And I told everyone that I'm getting kind of bored because I was traveling a lot and doing that because the team's killing it. We're doing well. And it's 2.5 year run of just like up, right? Oh, everything's good. Everything's running, EXP, rev share, all that. But then when the market shifts, like, holy shit, like take a step back, reevaluate everything. So this year, most excited about like going deep in the things we're doing, really taking like a step back to analyze everything we're looking at, what we're paying for. Is this working? Is this not? Making the right hires. And just last year, we hired a like secondary coach, directed agent coaching, and then he moved out. Then we had a person that was marketing department, handle our head marketing department, build out templates. She's decided to leave the company. We had someone that was directed education and mentorship, but they all made a lasting impression on the company. So next year, I'm super excited to do more business with less. And then selfishly, like a lot of companies are going to be out of business or hurt pretty bad. So their agents are going to start looking around for more opportunities. I don't care what company and what flag you fly, red, black, green, blue, whatever. But next year, people are really going to look at their numbers and look at if their current brokerage has the services they're looking for to make them successful in this new market. And because just quick talk, you see, like we're constantly adding and changing and adjusting. Most of the companies out there, say 90% of the companies are not adding anything. This is a playbook. It works really well. This is a proof example of all the agents that use this and kill it. Like your company has a lot of, most of my good friends are at your company's side and you guys all crush it. A lot of my good friends are at Compass. So like, okay, but then when you hit the end of that playbook, I'm doing everything you're telling me to do. Now what? And then you're not able to find new success or new growth or new strategies, and people are going to look around. And that's why I'm super excited that we're really well positioned to be the face of the next era of real estate practice.
Love that. And you've shared a lot of information from what you're doing.
It's attacking. It's really attacking the market. Yeah.
What are some parting words?
We're also like in the second phase too. Yeah.
Sorry.
Parting words.
This thing is lagging.
Just go out and do it. I always just say go out and do it because there's market share for everyone. I know it sounds terrible. The market's dipping, but early COVID, a lot of the much, much older agents decided to leave the business because it was unsafe. And, literally you could die like selling real estate. So I think that group of people who left the business gave more market share to the new agents coming in, but the new agents coming in now, it's a fun fact. I think 82 to 84% of agents who were licensed in 2021 and 2022 are not renewing their licenses. I signed out 25 new agent contracts a month, and I'll sign like 15, 20 people leaving. It's crazy. So the second wave of agents coming in, actually that was the second wave. Like all these new agents are taking market share from the OG agents that have left and retired happily. I hope now this new wave of agents coming in are just like killers. They're watching all these people online. So there's opportunity in the market. You just really, really need to adapt. I would try to like get your ego as anyone doing business, get your ego aside, take a step back, see what's working now and dive in. The playbook is freaking out there. You watch every Jason Pantana video, every Tom Ferry video, every Iman video, branding. Like, but people are like, oh, well, I don't know if that works for me. and then you'll pay a coach to tell you the same thing. You listen to whatever podcast or wherever they're telling the same things. Like, so I don't know. Like, it's the people who are going to take action that are gonna kill it. I mean, you have to just own it, right? You need to own your business. I know that's more like housing, but people are. It's a shift. It's a shift in wealth. It's a shift in business. It's a shift in the number of agents. The agents who are doing business. That's why I'm most excited for, like, this change, because this keeps you on your toes, where you actually have to like figure things out. And I know. I honestly, I mean, as much as it sucks, I'm losing money last quarter. I'm probably losing a lot of money this quarter. But again, I've been building this business to double my business this year. It's just a really hard recession, 6 months. But this is the most excited I've been about real estate in like in freaking over 10 years. I wake up and I'm like, dude, what am I doing today? No, what do I need to do today? And then what do I get to do today? Like, okay, I need to, and you gotta lead by example, right? What new thing am I gonna do today to piss someone off or lead someone or just like inspire someone? Something. You just can't sit back and be mundane. And that's what I'm excited about. Like, real estate is like, it's gonna be a really killer year. And killer year means someone's gonna get killed. But like, it's just shifting. And I'm really excited with all the changes happening, because, you know, it's just opportunity to try new things and do new things. Because the last couple of years has just been really good, pretty easy and really fun. This is fun and challenging, and I don't know, it's like stepping on coal. Or I think it's like thrilling. Like, I don't do that much outside activity. It's like, you know, climbing a mountain or something, right? That's fun, but you know, that's scary too. So I like this really scary and fun market we're in.
Appreciate your thoughts on that. And I look forward to having another conversation with you, maybe midway through the year or closer towards the end.
It's not 3 years later.
Yeah, but we will see your social presence as you adapt and as you obviously continue to grow your business. So I really appreciate your time, Kenny.
I mean, quick, be loud. If I had one line, I wrote this morning. Yeah, I put be loud and visible as fuck. But if I had 2 words, just be loud. This year, you need to be loud, be seen. But you gotta make people talk about you. It doesn't have to be good or bad. You need people to talk about you. You need your past clients to talk about you. You need other agents to talk about you. You need to be seen. You just need to be out there.
Can't agree more. And I'll share that with our team on Monday. So I appreciate that.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on.